Hi everyone, today we're here to talk to you guys about a new game called Abzu, the first game by developer Giant Squid. This game is a third-person adventure and exploration game where the player becomes a diver with the freedom to explore the entire ocean. Throughout the game, the diver is constantly interacting with a few other characters, including both man-made robotic creatures and different types of natural creatures from the sea. The diver is able to use these creatures to explore more and more of the ocean until they realize the purpose of the game in later episodes. The game goes well beyond traditional exploration, as the diver realizes more about humans themselves and how humans perceive the world as our world, when in fact, life is not only about us. This game is really open to interpretation, as everything is not as it initially seems. So we're about to tell you guys our thoughts on the game, but we totally suggest you play too, and produce your own thoughts on everything that is going on within this virtual world. As the game is set entirely in an underwater world, it naturally focuses on the one animal humans are most terrified of in the sea, the great white shark. The shark is an incredibly influential character which directs our diver throughout the entire mission. In the beginning of the game, we naturally view the shark as the ultimate villain, because we have grown seeing sharks as the predators of the ocean. Within the game, the shark destroys the friendly robot that the diver collected, which seems to confirm the player's assumption to stay away from the shark. The player cares only about his own safety, so the shark's fearful impression sticks with us, allowing the shark to manipulate the player, directing us to complete certain tasks, which develops the plot of the game. However, closer to the end, we realize that the diver and the shark have been working towards the same goal, restoring the balance between an ancient civilization that took over the ocean and destroyed themselves, and the creatures that had their ocean taken away from them. It is not only until the very end of the game the player realizes their own preconceived ideas about the sharks have made them take a very long path to the end of the game. People always think of themselves as divine creatures who are the only ones able to save the world. In the game though, it is the shark that sacrifices itself to destroy part of the civilization's technology and restore the balance to the world. This proves that maybe in fact we are not the most powerful creatures, despite what we all think of ourselves. There are many times that the diver can seemingly meditate in the middle of the game, bringing a peaceful aspect unlike what the shark delivers. When the player starts to meditate, the perspective changes from first to third person, displaying the entire underwater biome. This view changes our stereotypical thinking of underwater life in general. Humans have this perception that we need to be present in any environment for it to function well, when in fact, the ocean works just as well, if not better, without us. The game shows us how the system functions without us in the third person view, having larger fish snatch smaller fish, but also how the small fish have adapted and swim in schools as a defense system to deceive bigger predators by acting together as one big fish. This portrayal of animals changes how people think about the environment, as humans do not need to regulate it in order to save the world, but in fact just to allow the ecosystem to play out on its own. The background graphics also mold perception of the underwater biome from young children who have not seen anything about the deep ocean, to adults who already know how brutal but beautiful the ocean is. The developers of the game use intense technology to depict the diversity of the fish, especially the color, shape, and stripes from Achilles surgeonfish to yellowtail snapper during the meditation and gameplay. All this graphic representation of aquatic animals tells the player, you better change your mind about the dull, deep, and dark ocean now. The use of such vivid graphics is also interesting because technology is one of the most criticized aspects of the game. As a society, it seems insane that we could live in a world without our iPhones and computers near us at all times. But in this underwater world, technology was the main thing that ruined our society. The only other technology that is present involves the diver's gear. In this case, it is kind of clear what the game is trying to convey. It is possible to save the environment and survive without having to totally rely on technology. Crazy, right? In fact, the game goes a step further and criticizes the overuse of technology by human beings. In the game, the purpose of the diver is to restore the balance by destroying the ship and explosives, which were initially put there by humans to harness the power of the ocean, which they thought they had the sole right to. This again points to the game's argument that humans believe in the power of technology to help themselves, but do not realize that the overuse of technology is more harmful than beneficial. When the diver has to work naturally with a shark to restore the blue ocean energy to the pyramid, they use very little technology other than the guiding lights and diving gear. Instead of relying on complex technology, the diver relied on animals who know the ocean and lived there so peacefully before we got involved. Again, This just proves that humans need to stop seeing themselves and their technology as so superior, when in fact, it was the technology that ruined our society. Just like in real life, when companies such as BP think drilling for oil will help everyone in the long run, but end up destroying complete underwater ecosystems and killing thousands of animals. Human superiority is simply not fair and not right. There is no reason as an entire society to put our own needs above everyone else's, and this game proves that we really do have consequences on every living creature on the planet. Overall, Abzu is an incredible discovery game that does everything in its power to demonstrate how people need to stop believing that everything is about us. Whether it's thinking a shark is evil because it poses a threat to us while it's actually helpful, or thinking technology will save the world as it makes our lives easier when instead it causes entire society's demise. We need to understand this world does not only belong to us. However, it is not theirs either, with they referring to the animal other. The meditation scene challenges the idea that humans and animals are necessarily separate, with the camera for the first time leaving the diver and instead capturing him playing around with the sea life. It is not that he is now one of them, or that they are one of us. It goes to show that we are all in this together, diver, shark and fish. This is our world together, and we all have a role in protecting it and each other. Again, this is only our take on a very open-ended game. We welcome you guys to play and experience it for yourselves. Thanks for watching.